Okay, since we have our Docker running, what we can do is let's minimize this and open your terminal. Okay, so let's zoom a little bit and give docker ps-a. Okay, so this is how we look for the background process if anything is working in the background. Okay, so nothing seems to be here. Now let's run Ubuntu. Okay, so the first and foremost thing it will look is that whether the Ubuntu is available locally or not. If not, it's gonna grab it from the Docker Hub. Okay, so we are going to execute the same command, right? And let's check for docker ps-a. It's exited, right? So it somehow worked and got exited. So how to run it? You give -it and let's say docker run -it ubuntu and bin bash. Enter, and now you are inside Ubuntu, right? So now we can give the Ubuntu commands and those kind of things. If your application is built specifically for an Ubuntu or a Linux based distro, so you can just go for it and test your application. You can give your Linux commands. So you're in the root directory and all the root stuff is there. So if I wanted to download Apache, I'm gonna give apt install Apache 2, give s. Okay, we can confirm our index.html file is there, right? So let it be, we'll come that later. Okay, so let's exit it from here. Okay, so let's give docker ps-a, and this one too got exited. Okay, now how to run this in the background? So give docker start. Let's give the first three characters, and if we give docker ps-a, it seems to be up for more than 2 seconds. Let's just give up 6 seconds, right? So if we want to get inside this container, what we have to do is docker exec -it, the container id or the container name. You can give anything. So let's keep it simple. Just give defy bin bash. So now you're inside that container, right? Just exit. So let's look at docker images. So what are the images out there? So we have Ubuntu, which is the latest one, right? So if we wanted to pull an Nginx one, so what we can do is instead of giving docker run Nginx, right, somehow it's gonna tell us that it's not available locally, so it's gonna install it from the Docker Hub, right? It's gonna pull. So before running it, we can also pull the Nginx, right? So it's just gonna pull it from directly from the Docker Hub, and you can look that in Docker images, right? So now we have Nginx and Ubuntu. So if you want to delete a particular image, let's say it's an Nginx or either Ubuntu, you can just give docker or mi. You can either give image name or an ID and enter, right? So now let's give docker images. It's gone, right? And also you can see the size is very limited. It's kind of 45.3 MB, right? So the disk usage, the ID, whatever. We'll come to that. So now let's check for the containers, right? So I have this container. I have again another container. So if I don't want this, so what I can do is I can either start this, right? I can stop this. Let's say let's stop this 7251. Let's stop this and let's check. Yes, it's exited, right? So what we can do is we can give docker rm the container ID, enter, and now it's gone, right? So again, we can give docker rm. If we wanted to give continuously, we can give the two. So I have simultaneously removed these two containers. If I look for docker ps-a, nothing will be there. So docker images, right? So what I can do is I can just give docker run -it ubuntu bin bash, right? So inside this, we can give ps-e, ps-aux, whatever the services which are running in the background, we can just look on it, right? The normal basic Linux command. Okay, so let's say now we have a container, right? So let's start that container, docker start. Okay, so it is started, right? So let's inspect this. So docker inspect the container ID. So here you can able to get a lot of information regarding that container, right? So it's gonna show you the container ID, right? And when it is created, right, what's the state of it, this running, right? And what else, the image details and other details too, network settings, MAC address, IP address, right? And other details too, OS, Linux and its architecture, and where it actually got it from, right? Let's say that the name it's given pensive Satoshi something, right? So we can give it as docker rename the ID to, let's say, Ubuntu OS, right? If we give this ps-a, it's now it have been changed to Ubuntu OS. Now we can just say like docker stop Ubuntu OS. It's gonna stop, right? Instead of giving the container ID, you can also give the name of the container. Okay, so now it's got exited. So I can give start, and it's got started, right? And even we can pause this container. Sorry, you can see it is paused, right? So also you can unpause it. So now it's working fine.